Amy Sindicic here. Welcome to Grammar in a Nutshell. Today's topic, past perfect simple. The past perfect is used for events or actions that began or occurred at a past time before other events that occurred in the past. For example, for a past action that occurred prior to something else in the past. When we arrived, the film had already started. Event, our arrival, which happened in the past. Prior event or action, the start of the film, which was before our arrival. For events or actions that began in the past prior to other events or actions. She didn't eat much for dinner because she had already had a whole pizza. Action, not eating much for dinner. Prior event or action, the consumption of a whole pizza prior to dinner time. For a past action that occurred prior to something else, when we got home, there was glass everywhere. It was obvious that someone had broken into the house when we were away. Event was our arrival, which happened in the past. The prior event was the breaking into the house, which was indicated by the shattered glass. Uh, Another event or action, I arrived at the train station 15 minutes late. They said the train had already left. The action, arriving late at the train station, the prior action was the departure of the train, which happened prior to my late arrival. Also, we can use the past perfect for lack of a past action that was expected to occur prior to something else in the past. When we got home, the house was a mess. It was obvious that no one had cleaned it in weeks. Event, our arrival, which happened in the past. The expected event was that the house would have been cleaned. And the mess was an indication that no one had cleaned it. For events that didn't occur in the past but would have been expected, the student failed the exam because he hadn't studied. The action was failing the exam. The expected event or action was studying, or in this case, not having studied. Okay, here's the form. We have subject had and past participle. I had taught, you had danced, he, she, it had painted, we had laughed, you had come, they had eaten. The negative, I had not taught, you had not danced, he, she, it had not painted, we had not left, you had not come, they had not eaten. We've got contractions. I'd taught, you'd danced, he'd painted, she'd painted, it'd painted, we'd laughed, you'd come, they'd eaten. Negative contractions. I hadn't taught, you hadn't danced, he, she, it hadn't painted, we hadn't laughed, you hadn't come, they hadn't eaten. Here we're looking at the present simple, past simple, and the past participle. Teach, taught, taught, dance, dance, danced, paint, painted, painted, leave, left, left, come, came, come, eat, ate, eaten. That's just a reference table. Then past perfect simple questions. Had I taught? Had you danced? Had he, she, it painted? Had we left? Had you come? Had they eaten? Past perfect questions are most commonly used when asking if something happened prior to something else. Had you read the text before you took the exam? Ask to understand a poor result or the reason for the poor result. Had you ever been there before? Asked perhaps if someone said they were lost or couldn't find their way. Um, had you been there before? Yes, I had. Have you ever been there, or had you ever been there? No, I hadn't. And another use of past perfect is with the third conditional, which I'm going to be covering in an upcoming video. Um, had you read the book, you would have done better on the exam. If you had studied harder, you would have performed better on the exam. The third conditional is used to talk about a hypothetical. It's not exactly hypothetical. There's no possibility of it occurring. It's an unreal conditional. It's talking about how things would be different if certain events had occurred. It's just looking back at the past and reminiscing about how if other things had occurred, the present would be different. Um, Thank you for visiting me at Grammar in a Nutshell. Please visit me at amysindicic.com. Thank you.